thank you as much as I'd want to, but I know on my trip back to Philadelphia after this weekend, as always, I will remain grateful for what people have done for me and what people have given me. I love Oil City, I love Silver Lee, and I love you, and thank you so much. You know, why do you do this to me, Bob? Just when I think it's over, it's just something else. And, you know, they always say behind a good man, if you want to say that, there's always a good woman. I just want to tell you, I met my wife. We can talk about things here tonight, but it has been the greatest thing in my life. The 3 little redheads that she has given me, I'll tell you, I feel that standing here in this field with them, seeing an All-American plaque, a retired jersey, Jim Shaughnessy Day. Bob Taylor, I love you, and I love Oil City.
Friday night football continues on 1450 WFRA Franklin, Venango County sports leader. Nearly second halftime, and Oil City leads the Franklin Knights by a 12-7 score. The winner of this game going on to the District 10 AAA playoffs next weekend to meet the Corey Beavers. Corey 7-1 going into tonight's action against Fort LaBeouf, one of the tough AA teams that does not get a playoff position up in the Erie County League. Corey can finish in second place overall with a victory there this evening in their final tune-up before meeting a Northwest Football Conference squad next weekend. With Larry Grill, this is Tim Shaw, and in our ball game this evening, we've reached the climax of what a lot of folks at both of these school districts have been talking about for much of the year, especially after Franklin jumped off to a good start and Oil City continued and built on an 8-game winning streak from last season with 5 consecutive victories to start this year. I think everybody kept saying if Franklin can keep their winning streak going after they proved they could keep winning after the loss to Greenville, and if Oil City doesn't falter to maybe anybody except Greenville, maybe that Franklin-Oil City game, which is coming at the end of the year, is going to mean something. And another possibility would have to have been at least 2 of the 3 top AAA teams in the Erie County League would have to have 3 losses by this time. Well, Larry, everything fell into place. It all comes down to this one ball game. I know Franklin coach Fred Blackhurst tried to downplay the importance of the game quite a bit, but I know the followers of the Franklin Knights and the Oil City Oilers have both looked at this one as a big one, an exciting one, and a game that you don't run into all that often.
Right, Tim, and it's lived up to its billing so far, and we were talking before the game, and I was going to mention it in the pregame, but I just didn't get to it, was that as long as I've been watching Franklin football, Oil City and Franklin game has always been a big game, but it's never really meant anything as to somebody, going on making the playoffs, and, it's going to be an exciting second half.
The Oil City Oilers have never been to the District 10 playoffs. They have a 5-point halftime lead. Now the second half is underway. Bundy Fulmer of the Knights kicking off. Brian Harry will receive the ball at the 10-yard line, breaks one tackle at the 20, gets up close to the 25-yard line, brought down at the 24, and there are flags all around him as he goes down.
Well, we're going to have to wait to see. Usually it's the illegal block in the back, but it also could be a face mask penalty, but it looks as if they're talking to Franklin captain. So, and Oil City is moving back towards the goal line. So a good kick by Bundy, ending up around the 3-yard line. Harry doing a good job of getting it out to about the 24, but the penalty is going to move them back. So Franklin is in good shape right off the bat here in field position. Now what they need to do is hold them on first down, and hopefully they can get the ball right around midfield.
The ball's back nearly at the 10-yard line. We'll call it the 11 for starters. First and 10, Oil City, leading Franklin by 5. Oil City Franklin in the last minute of the first half went for a field goal to come to within 2. It was just missed. Only the third time this year the Knights had attempted a field goal. Here's the handoff to the fullback, David Winger. Winger won't go down with 2 men on him until Clinton Washington is the third man. Rob Saunders and Gabe Matanzo both trying to bring Winger down as he went outside the 15 to about the 18-yard line. Clinton Washington came flying in from behind, leveled Winger, but it's a gain of nearly 8 yards for the Oil City fullback.
Coming out with just a safe, basic fullback dive, something they've only done one time in the ball game, and Franklin just not ready for it. They looked as if they were looking for the big play again from the 2 backs from Oil City, Osterman and Harry.
Second down, long yardage, as Kaminsky hands it off to Winger once again. Almost looked like Harry was trying to go through that hole. Winger gets the call, gets very little yardage on the play as there was all kinds of traffic up the middle. Looking for the 20, but he's stopped shy of it at about the line of scrimmage, actually. It's third down now for the Oilers, and I think I said it was second in long yardage, but actually it was second and down and about 2.5 yards to go.
Well,
so now it's third and the same.
And Tim, I looked for that's 2 fullback dives in a row out of this half a wishbone here. Maybe Oil City might have an option if they're going to run it. Maybe this might be the play.
Kaminsky looking for Winger again.
And it looks as if he got enough to get the first down.
Winger needed the 21. Looks like he's got at least the 22-yard line. We'll be moving the markers. And Oil City has gotten themselves out of some trouble and will continue on this attempted drive. 12-7 Oilers. Early in the third quarter, Oil City High School. A near-capacity crowd. I don't think there was any problem getting a seat, but there might have been some folks, if you were a late arrival, having to push down the rows just a little bit to let you in. I'm sure there will be a little bit of a traffic snag as we leave here today. Ball carried by Tate Osterman this time. Line of scrimmage to 22. Osterman going up on the left side, picking up a couple to the 24-yard line.
Well, that time Oil City coming out of the full bone look and a little cross action there, faking to the fullback, and then Osterman coming behind the fullback for the handoff. But Franklin doing a good job of plugging up the middle.
Second down, 8 along 7 from just outside the 25-yard line. Again, keeping it on the ground, Brian Harry picking up a yard or 2 for the Oilers. And that'll bring up third down and long yardage for the Oilers. Content to keep it on the ground as they start play here, holding a 5-point lead in the second half.
Well, it'll be interesting. Franklin has yet to really put the pressure on the Oil City quarterback. At one time they did flush him out of the pocket, but I believe it also was a rollout there on the passes. Oil City is 3 for 3 passing. Franklin, I looked for Clinton Washington to put a little more pressure on this time.
The ball spotted at the 25-yard line. Third down, nearly 8 to go. They'll put it in the air and overthrow the receiver, Tate Osterman, who was at midfield. The closest man to the ball, actually, was Franklin cornerback Andy Shalott. It'll be a punting situation for the Oil City Oilers. And after this kick, the Franklin Knights will start their first possession of the second half.
Well, I'm surprised Oil City going for the distance on that play, but Andy Shalott was in real good position and good rush by Franklin as the quarterback was hit just as he threw it.
The ball to be snapped from the 25. Tate Osterman, the punter, takes a low snap and gets a low line drive kickoff from the 14. It bounces at midfield, and then, almost like it had the bite of a golf ball, settles down at the Franklin 47-yard line. The Knights will take over with good field position, if not excellent field position, at their own 47.
We'll give them about a 27-yard punt on that. And the snap was a one bouncer, and I think Osterman rushed his kick there as he had a little bit more time than I think he knew he had, but he wanted to get rid of it. Good bounce for Franklin, as Tim said. It just sort of hit and bounced right up in the air.
Senior Freddie Stevens, the Franklin quarterback. Rob Saunders has been their leading rusher, 80 carries, 385 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
As there's a rabbit running down the field, I wondered why both sides were starting to holler at him, and a rabbit just took off right down through the players.
But the 22 players are ready to go. Stevens handing off to Graham, in motion on the right side, kind of like an end around from the flanker. Like Scooter Bacher in the first half, he's getting a lot of lateral yardage, but then Graham picks up about 3 as he cuts upfield on the right side, gets the ball to midfield. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Play developed there that Rob Graham was going to get big yardage on it, but he didn't cut up soon enough. He just strung it out there. If he would have cut up inside that one Oil City player, he would have had at least 5 yards and maybe more. You can't look for every play to go for a touchdown on the outside. You've got to cut up and get the yardage and then break to the outside.
Shalott wide to the left side. Fulmer in motion to the right side. Stevens fakes a handoff to Scooter Bacher. He's throwing deep. Shalott will have the ball inside the 30-yard line, forced out of bounds at the Oil City 26-yard line. It's a 24-yard pass completion.
Tim, we'll give him credit for
34 to the 16. Thank you for correcting me.
And that ball was right on the money there. Beautiful rollout by Freddie, and right on the money. And if there was one more yard of sideline there, Andy Shalott goes in and scores.
10 Franklin at the Oil City 16-yard line. Shalott had his man beat. The ball wasn't thrown quite as deeply as he thought, and he did have to slow down just a little bit, but he was approaching the sideline anyway. And here comes Franklin, trying for their first lead of the game from 16 yards from the goal line. Stevens handing off to Graham. The ball is loose. Oil City fouls on it. It looks like the Oilers have it back. They do. Franklin fumbles the ball away for the second time in the ball game, and that scoring drive is stopped that quickly.
Well, that could be the momentum swing there, but Franklin again getting down in scoring position, but can't do it. And again, Franklin trying to get outside. Oil City had a lot of pressure on there. The handoff should have been made, but Franklin needs to soften the middle up a little bit so Oil City can't crash quite as hard there.
Well, Larry, I think the ball was recovered by Tim Eckert. It's 1st and 10 Oil City from their own 20-yard line. The ball is pitched back to Tate Osterman. Osterman with a hole on the left side across the 25, picking up 6 or 7 on the first play from scrimmage.
Well, and again, that play looked like it was going to get a lot more yardage than it did. But Osterman, again, cutting outside and not turning it up soon enough, and only getting about 7 yards. Looked like he might have some big yardage on that play.
2nd down, about 3.5 yards to go from near the Oil City 27-yard line. 12-7 Oilers, 7 minutes left in the third quarter now. Franklin has had a 67-yard touchdown run called back. They've missed a 36-yard field goal, and they fumbled the ball away twice. It's Osterman again, has the first down. 3 yards or so beyond that, down to the 33-yard line, will move the markers.
Well, Franklin has the weight advantage at the line of scrimmage, but Oil City doing a much better job of driving the line of scrimmage in their direction. And Franklin's got to stop that initial penetration there by the offensive lineman. They've got to stalemate them there.
Mike Garback leads the Oilers out of the huddle. He's over the football with Scott Kaminsky at quarterback. Kaminsky handing off to Brian Harry, the second man through. Harry's got some yardage. Carrying with him, the man who finally brings him down, defensive end Dave Smith. He's across the 40 to the 42-yard line.
Well, we'll give him about 8 yards on the carry. But again, it looked as if Brian Harry might break it for big yardage there as he broke a tackle. Franklin got to stiffen up on defense here a little bit. They're giving up too much on the initial play here of the first series.
3 men in the backfield behind Kaminsky. Brian Britton now has joined Brian Harry and Tate Osterman. Osterman gets the call. Changing direction in the middle of traffic. fighting for an extra yard. First down, Oil City, as Osterman takes the ball to the 45-yard line.
Well, again, it's just that little trap play. The fullback goes one way, and the back comes from the other side and goes the other way. And Osterman, who was hit before the first down, but did a good job of leaning forward, getting about 4 yards for the first down.
The setbacks are Britton and Harry. And Brian Harry will get the call, diving for 2, stopped up first by Dave Smith. Smith joined in on the tackle by Chad Blair. It's a 2-yard gain for Harry, 2nd and 8, Oil City.
And again, we have another Oil City player who was limping and just goes down to his knee. I believe that's number 33 for Oil City.
That would be Brian Britton.
He gets in there every once in a while at fullback, I believe, doesn't he?
He gets up by himself, but is limping as he comes off, unlike the other 2 Oiler players who were down for a longer period of time, but appeared to be okay as they were coming off. Britton's getting some help in there as he's being brought off to the sideline, the near sideline from our vantage point. Temporarily, the clock was stopped with about 5:20 left in the third quarter. 12-7 Oil City. They've advanced now following the recovered fumble up to their own 47-yard line. It's 2nd and 8 from there. And now we're ready and underway as David Winger comes back in at the fullback position. Winger and Harry behind Kaminsky. Osterman in a wing position. A rush for Franklin. The quarterback is sacked. Dave Smith was leading the way, and he'll get the quarterback down outside the 35-yard line, back to the 34, a loss of 13 on the play. And a big defensive play for defensive end Dave Smith, a 6'3", 210-pound Franklin Jr.
Well, we'll give him about a 13-yard loss on that play as, again, Corey Ace coming from the other side, linebacking position, getting in there along with Dave Smith from his defensive end position there. So good pressure from Franklin here. It's 3rd down and 20. Franklin needs to play it safe here, not look for something funny.
Kaminsky off to Osterman, just a short gain. And Osterman brought down. Rob Saunders getting it from behind. Bundy Fulmer covering up. And that's a gain of just a couple of yards, making it about 4th and 19. And as we thought, both defenses come through when they need to, and there's been no greater indication than that than the last couple of possessions. The recovered fumble by Oil City, and I'm giving credit to Tim Eckert on that one. And the big sack by Dave Smith of Franklin, forcing Oil City into this punting situation. And one man for Franklin who's back is Scooter Bacher. He backs up to the 30-yard line. They kick it away from him to the punter's right, Osterman's right, Bacher's left, and it'll roll down inside the 30 to the Franklin 28-yard line. Go down as a kick of some 46 yards with no return. And Franklin has the ball 1st and 10 at their own 28. We'll take a timeout. 3:22 left in the third quarter. Oil City 12, Franklin 7. Back after this on 1450 WFRA.
Northwest Savings Bank works for you, the bank that you can trust.
With professionals to serve you, your interest is a must.
We're small enough to know you, we're big enough to care. We're the Northwest Savings Bank.
We're everything your bank should be.
It's a great feeling knowing that right here, right in your hometown, you can depend on one of the most stable and trustworthy savings institutions in Pennsylvania, Northwest Savings Bank. We've been serving Pennsylvanians like you for 97 years. And as your friends and neighbors, we're proud to offer you the safety, security, and convenience of full-service banking. Northwest Savings Bank. We're right here in your hometown and everything your bank should be. Come see us for all your banking needs.
We're the Northwest Savings Bank.
We're everything your bank should be.
Well, the officials wasted no time in getting the Franklin Knights to start their offensive set. We've missed 2 plays here, a 3-yard pass completion from Freddie Stevens to tight end Dave Smith. On 2nd and 7, Stevens dropped back as if to pass, ran with the ball, and picked up maybe a couple on the play, 2.5 yards to just shy of the 35-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down and 4.5 or 5 yards to go for the first down for the Franklin Knights.
Well, Freddie was rolling out again, and Scooter Blocker going down the sidelines, but Oil City trying to put more pressure on Freddie Stevens there in that passing situation.
Ball just shy of Franklin's 35-yard line. Stevens up behind Lynch. Stevens looking to pass, looks left, throws right, has a receiver across midfield, and Scooter Blocker cannot hang on to it.
Well, it was a tough break for Scooter. It was a little bit behind him, and it's right in the center of the field in about the 10-yard area where it's not a mud hole, but you can see where it was muddy and it's dried out now, and the Scooter reached back to catch it. He just slipped and kept going in the other direction and tried to get one hand on the ball, but couldn't quite pull it in.
So just that quickly, the Franklin Knights will punt it away. A short pass completion, followed by a short gain on a quarterback keeper, then the incomplete pass across midfield. And we've had a penalty marker thrown. And one of the officials is coming over and saying something at the Oil City sideline. The indication is a mark off against Franklin.
And I wonder if that was for one of the Franklin players not having a mouthpiece in. I think that's what it was, is Bundy Fulmer or either Ray Sanders not having his mouthpiece in, as Ray's calling the signal, the referee calling that.
Bundy Fulmer takes in with one hand the high snap back at the 14-yard line, then gets a line drive which takes a nice Franklin hop. It's scooped in by Scott Kaminsky at the Oil City 33. He'll get a return of just 2 yards on the play. Let's see, the initial line of scrimmage was the 38. Call it a 29-yard punt with 2 yards of return. And Oil City will have the ball first and 10 from their own 35. A minute 39 left in the third quarter. The Oilers still leading by the margin they held at halftime, 12-7.
And Tim, that could have been the play of the game right there, as Bundy Fulmer showing his baseball skills, snagging that snap with one hand. If he doesn't catch it, that's through the end zone for a safety.
And Bundy's left-handed, so in baseball, that's a bare-handed snag. Up with one hand, the left hand, taking it up the middle. David Winger, the ball carrier, picking up a couple of yards on the first and 10 for the Oil City Oilers.
Well, I think Oil City thinks they can run the ball right up the middle at Franklin. That's what they've been trying to do here at the beginning of this second half. As the second half has gone fast in this third period, as we're down to just a little bit over a minute left.
Big play which may have changed the momentum. The fumble by the Franklin Knights on the very first play after they had the long completion, the 34-yard pass play to the 16-yard line. They were getting into position to try for a game-leading touchdown. They've not led at all in this ball game. They trail 12-7. Nice fake handoff to one back by Kaminsky, and Winger gets the call again and has the first down at the Oil City 45-yard line.
Well, there was another good initial hitter right around the 40-yard line, but Franklin not wrapping up, and Oil City getting the first down. That's too easy up the middle there for the Oil City Oilers right now. Franklin's going to have to do something different to stop them from just running the ball right down their throats.
Just a little more than 40 seconds left in the third quarter. First and 10 Oil City from their own 45. That's Tim Eckert in at quarterback. Eckert handing off to Brian Harry across midfield, picking up 8 or 9 on the carry, close to the Franklin 45-yard line. Tim Eckert replacing Scott Kaminsky in there at quarterback. Eckert, number 15, had pretty much been alternating in the first couple of games of the season with Kaminsky until Coach Paul Stam settled on his one starter, Kaminsky. And now, with about 18 seconds left in the third quarter, we have a timeout. So we'll take a broadcast timeout with the score still Oil City 12, Franklin 7. Back after this on 1450 WFRA.
Now, we don't mean to toot our own horns. Yeah, we do. You see, we're proud as a peacock that Franklin Park is northwestern Pennsylvania's low-price leader with 9 new car lines in one easy-to-shop location. Chevy, Olds, Cadillac, and Geo, plus Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, Jeep, and Eagle. There, we've said it. But there's more. Right now, during our final 96 clearance, you can save thousands. This is it. The last offer, the last go-around, the lowest prices of the year on any 96. We got to move them out because the 97s are moving in. hundreds of cars, hundreds of deals. A chance for you to save like never before. But it is your last chance to save on these 96s. Hurry to the final 96 clearance. You don't want to miss this one. It's all happening at Franklin Park.
Franklin Park, we turn customers into friends.
Route 257, Seneca.
On what should be the last play of the third quarter, on a second down and short play, with the ball handed off to the fullback, David Winger. Looks like Oil City gets enough for the first down. We'll move the markers. The ball inside the Franklin 45-yard line. 14 and a half seconds left in the third quarter. When the markers are positioned, the clock will start. It started already, and Oil City probably will not run off another play here in the third quarter. They'll just stand there and watch the clock tick down. So that is the end of the third period. With the score still, the Oilers 12 and the Franklin Knights 7. Oil City will have the ball in Franklin territory. 1st and 10 when play resumes. We'll be right back on 1450 WFRA.
Franklin Auto announces the switch is on. Visit Franklin Auto on Grant Street in Franklin to find out why more and more people are switching to Ford and to Franklin Auto. Franklin Auto offers 43 years of quality sales and service, dependable, knowledgeable people you know and trust, and a commitment to keep you as a lifelong customer and friend. During October, take advantage of closeout prices on remaining 96 Fords and Mercuries. Franklin Auto, proud to support the Franklin Knights, Grant Street in Franklin. Stop in and find out why the switch is on. Looking for a great buy on a quality mattress? You can get a good night's rest with a Serta Perfect Sleeper from Days. All mattresses are now on sale with prices starting at a low $79. A 10-year warranty Serta Perfect Sleeper mattress is sale priced at just $179.99. Plus, you get a free Hollywood frame, free delivery, and free haul away of your old bedding with every set for a limited time only at Days. Plus, get 90-day Simmons cash with approved financing. Hurry into Days Home Furnishings and Appliances now. That's Days, still your carload store. South Franklin Street in Titusville. Open daily to 5, Monday and Friday to 8, and Saturday to 3.
12 minutes of regulation play remaining. The Oil City Oilers, 1st and 10 from Franklin's 45-yard line, leading Franklin 12-7. That was the same margin we had at halftime. In at quarterback for the Oilers, moving right to left here in the fourth quarter, Tim Eckert. Eckert hands off to fullback David Winger. Breaks the tackle, goes down after about a 3-yard gain, tries to spin for another yard, and it looks like they'll give it to him to the 41-yard line.
Well, again, Tim, he was hit right at the line of scrimmage, just made a good move outside. Franklin's making initial contact, but they're not wrapping up and driving. Oil City's line is just keeping their legs driving and driving the pile back.
And down on the sideline, it does not appear that starting quarterback Scott Kaminsky is injured, but it's Tim Eckert in at quarterback. Eckert, a 5'10", 170-pound senior. Here we go, 2nd and 6 Oilers from the Franklin 41. It's a pitch back to Osterman. He's got some momentum, has the first down, and then out of bounds inside the 35, down close to the Franklin 31-yard line.
And if that would have been to the wide side of the field, he would have been gone, but he just ran out of room on the sideline there. And right now, Oil City just has Franklin guessing as to what they're going to do offensively.
Franklin defensive tackle Chad Blair comes up limping. Right now he's still out there, but he is replaced now in the lineup by Corey Peterson. Blair will hobble off to the far sideline. 1st and 10, Oil City from the Franklin 31. And coming in through, Dave Smith cannot get to the quarterback before he can hand off to Brian Harry. Smith ended up with the tackle on Tim Eckert, but Eckert had already handed off to Harry. Harry gets about 1.5 yards on the first down play.
Well, Oil City is yet to put a pass. They have put one pass up here in this second half, but this here would be a good play for them to put one up if they are in the full house, the wishbone here.
Eckert behind Garbach. Takes the handoff to Harry, gives it off to Tate Osterman. Ball inside the 30, down close to the 25-yard line. Tate Osterman in there with the blocking by Chris Krasinski. And a pickup of 5 or so on the play. 3rd down and 4, we'll call it, from about the 26-yard line.
Well, the fullback has become a factor